A Utah woman who gave online parenting advice through a once popular YouTube channel has now been arrested on suspicion of aggravated child abuse. I do want to warn you, the allegations are incredibly disturbing.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and the more we delve into this Ruby Franke, Jodi Hildebrandt situation, the more troubling it seems and is. Now, right now we're going to take a quick look at some quotes that have been attributed to the neighbours surrounding the Hildebrandt compound house type thing, and yeah, it's not good. This is from the Rolling Stone magazine, and it says, an Ivins, Utah resident who lives nearby the family and asked not to be named for privacy, tells Rolling Stone that he and other neighbours have called police on Franke multiple times out of concern for the children, and notes there were weeks at a time where the children appeared to be left without an adult present. The Santa Clarence Ivins Police Department did not respond for a request for comment. So, according to this neighbour, the kids appeared to be left alone. These are young children, 12 and 10, and they were left alone, allegedly, for, it says here, weeks at a time. That's no wonder that they're not eating. Goes on to say, in early 2022, it started getting weird, the neighbour tells Rolling Stone. People were concerned because Ruby completely stopped her YouTube stuff, and then it kind of turned dark. She taped up paper all over her windows. She would disappear for weeks at a time, and there's all these little kids just left alone in this house. Franke did not respond for comment. Obviously, she's banged up, and her husband Kevin didn't respond either. But this is really worrying. If this is the case, it sounds like she was having some sort of mental, like, cult type breakdown. That's what it sounds like. And they were just shutting themselves off from the world, and the kids just there. All, yeah, it feels very like that. Those final weeks, it's just leading up to the point where the child had to escape through a window. It's really, really, really worrying. The cops were called, several times. They would come and they'd knock on the door and nobody would open up, the neighbour adds. So this worries me quite a bit, right? Because you've got reports of children being left alone, kind of being neglected, right? And then you've got the police coming out and just knocking on the door and saying nobody's up, nobody's here. So yeah, that doesn't feel right to me, because surely if the reports of the kids being left alone, it stands to reason that probably nobody would answer the door if it's just the kids there on their own. And it's yeah, I know it feels very wrong, and there should have been something done a lot sooner. Why weren't neither Ruby nor Jodi actually investigated properly about this? It just makes me feel sick, seriously sick. But what's more, this other article appeared in the Hill website. Officers reported that the 12-year-old appeared severely malnourished and was suffering from multiple wounds. The child was hospitalized at St. George Regional Hospital due to deep lacerations from being tied up with rope and malnourishment. Oh my God. I mean, it just makes me feel so angry, and I can't imagine. I don't know how any mother could do something like this, or even allow something like this to happen. I just It's just horrible. It's so bad. Police said they found a second child in Hildebrandt's home, a 10-year-old girl who at first refused care but eventually agreed. She must be so scared. She was treated at an area hospital where medical professionals determined she was also suffering from malnutrition, according to police. Franke appeared in a YouTube video that was filmed in Hildebrandt's basement and posted 2 days ago, according to police. Officers added that they believed Franke was aware of the alleged abuse and neglect. Police also determined that Hildebrandt was in the direct care of the children and knew of the abuse. Hildebrandt allegedly made statements to the police that the children should never be allowed around other kids. What the actual adding to law enforcement's opinion that she was aware of the abuse, according to the officer's report. So you've got the kids being left home alone for weeks on end, Ruby and Jody taping up the windows so nobody can see in and nobody can get at the children. You've got Jody, who is interfered so vastly in this family's life that she has basically brainwashed. I'm not gonna stick up for Ruby at all, but it's basically brainwashed Ruby to the extent that she no longer wants her kids to be involved in the outside world, and she thinks that this is okay. I mean, Ruby's got some very wacky sense of parenting, so it probably didn't take much of a nudge, so it's horrendous. The more you see about this, the more you read, the more you find out it is absolutely horrendous, and I can't fathom it at all. But the other thing that's happened recently is the family, the sisters, shall we say, of Ruby have spoken out about it. So this was a joint statement that was put out on Julie, Bonnie and Ellie's Instagrams. They all put it out. For the last 3 years, we have kept quiet on the subject of our sister Ruby Franke for the sake of her children. Behind the public scene, we have done everything we could to try and make sure the kids were safe. Obviously, you didn't do enough, I've got to say. I just want to put that out there. Didn't do enough because the kids were, to the point where they were like starving, right? We couldn't feel right about moving forward with regular content without addressing the most recent events. Once we do, we will not be commenting on it further. Well, I believe that Bonnie did comment on it further on her own channel. We're going to get to that in a second. Ruby was arrested, which needed to happen. Jody was arrested, which needed to happen. The kids are now safe, which is the #1 priority. Yes, so that was the statement. All three of them, 3 sisters together, they all put out the same statement on their various Instagram pages, just to let people know that this was all taken care of, and they were worried, and they had tried apparently for years to get it sorted. I don't believe they did enough, but that's just my opinion.
I've got regular scheduled content that was supposed to go out tomorrow, Friday, and it is Thursday evening, and this week has been nothing that I could have anticipated. I don't think any of us could have really anticipated.
So this is Bonnie, and for those of you who don't know, she also has her own YouTube channel with a lot of subs who and she exploits her kids in the same way that Ruby used to on her channel, and she's about to tell us why she needs to talk about this, and that she needs to talk about this before she can move on with her regular content, because that's important too.
If you have the internet, you have seen news articles on my sister, Ruby, from the 8 passengers. And my sisters and I, we are on the very same page. We put out a message. You can read that on Instagram. And for the last 3 years, we have truly clung on to each other and offering support to one another. And
doing what though? I mean, I get why you would want to do things maybe in the background, out of the public eye, and not involve the public in all this, but what have you actually been doing? Because according to neighbours, this has been going on for over a year at least, that the children have been abused, neglected, etc. So what have you been doing in that time? Because you're doing nothing. Just, I mean, has anybody actually checked on the kids in that time? Has anybody, I mean, where's Kevin been hiding in all this? I don't get it anyway.
I don't think any of us could have ever seen this coming. We all did as much as we could legally, and you don't know what you don't know. I do feel a little bit numb at this point. The only thing that we ultimately care about is that our nieces and nephews are safe, and they are. And that is the only thing that matters.
Well, interestingly, the 4 children, was it, that are underage have been put in the care of the state and not with any of the family. Have you offered to give your help? Are you trying to give them a place to stay, or is it just, they're safe now and then we'll let the state deal with it because that's the way it needs to be?
To any of us, it is going to feel weird for me to move forward, and I think, do I just move forward?
Just take it a day at a time.
Now, I found that a very interesting thing to say. Do I just move forward? It's like she's asking her viewers, shall I move forward? Do you give me permission to move forward, is what she's asking. Is it okay if I carry on doing my vlogs whilst my sister is banged up for child abuse? And that's what she's asking her viewers and trying to get affirmation that is okay.
Who knows what anything has in store, but we just know right now that those kids are safe.
I don't have any thoughts even for myself. I don't know what I would even tell myself, let alone tell all of you. I think times like these is where it really tests your belief in God, and I know that timing is everything, and I know that they will be taken care of. I know the kids will be okay, and I know our family will be okay. And
interesting that you say that your family will be okay, but did you know, Bonnie, you do know, that every single one of your family, your sisters, all of them, all exploit in their own beautiful way their own children. They all do it. So none of you are actually innocent in any of this. Yes, you didn't bind and starve your kids. You didn't do that, hopefully, but you have been guilty of exploitation and everything that comes with that of your kids, and you can't just say, oh well, we'll be fine, our family will be fine. Take your kids off the internet.
Things like this happen, and somehow we each find a way to move forward. No matter what situation you're finding yourself in, the sun rises every day, the sun sets every day, and each day you move forward. That's all you can do.
Okay, so that was indeed Bonnie, and she is trying to find a way to move forward after this whole tragedy, this whole tragic event. Now, going back to Ruby and Jody, because let's not forget Jody is in this. I know Ruby's getting a lot of the headlines because of her status, but Jody is undoubtedly one of the main players in this entire thing, if not worse than everybody else concerned. So they have allegedly held their kids up in Jodie's basement, or house at least, and the kids have been tied up to the point where they've got deep lacerations in their legs and their feet and their arms. They've been starved. They've been locked away. Neighbours tried to call the police, or did call the police, and the police came, didn't do anything. And it's just, I feel really, really sad and upset. I spent the entire day yesterday with it on my mind. The only thing I could think about was what's happened and how this has happened, and what we're watching in front of us for years, in fact, is what had been playing out. Yeah, we watched the 8 passengers shit show of a vlog every day, and then there were certain instances which were red flags and people were rightly concerned about them, but it led to the point where the kids were ultimately isolated from school, from their friends, from life itself, and to the point where they were just non-existent in society anymore, and nobody knew what was happening. I still have serious doubts about their dad, Kevin. What was he doing? Because again, if it was my kids that were in this situation, he can't have seen his kids for weeks and weeks, or months even, to get to the point where these kids are malnourished. Because you would notice, wouldn't you? You would think, hang on a second, my kids, they don't look very well fed, and I'm going to really try and get them out of this situation, because they should not be with their mother. Especially if you know that their mother is with this absolutely insane nutjob of a alleged therapist. You would want them out of that situation, surely. So I'm going to keep covering this when more comes out. If you find out more, let me know so I can cover it, and let's talk about this together, because there's a huge conversation that needs to be had in time about this, and I'm going to talk about it because it is everything family vloggers are doing to their kids. It's horrible in every single way. Until next time, please give this video a thumbs up if you've appreciated the efforts, and comment all your thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.